All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
Give all praise to Yahweh Bashar Dash.
Dash.
Everyone to the elders, apostles of GMS. Peace, blessings, and salutations again to the whole select. All right. This is a quick ride and talk, man. Just bouncing off some ideas on the conversation we had earlier about the scriptures, That's what it's all about. The scriptures, even in the conversations brothers have in passing, 9 times out of 10, when it comes to us, man, we're gonna result and bring everything back to the scriptures in general. And one thing we were hitting on was, man, that these damn bodies we got, man, ain't working down, right? We hurt, we go through different ailments and health reasons and shit, man. We also, you plagued in the mind and your thoughts, whether you're doing the right thing, whether, bills, all right? Just it's hell here, man. Just trying to get a sense of peace.
Poison.
Food. Yeah, the food. And I done did other videos like this, man, because you watch brothers, go through it yourself. You also watch, in a sense, people around you. People that are close to you and around you, they go through it. And you're like, God damn, man, this shit is really hell, man. Living here and being amongst these people, man. Being in this place called America, it's hell, And these bodies, man, this is not it, man. All right.
If I can say real quick, just going back onto, the diets we have here, with just how much poison and artificial stuff's in the food. The other day I was eating something, I hadn't eaten in a while. Well, I wouldn't even say that. It was just I tried to buy a healthier alternative to something, and like my whole body just felt wrecked after that. So it's a struggle, from the mental to just the physical, how weak these bodies are, just to the diet, to where you can easily see how people that are just constantly dealing with, just on the food kick, the diet out here, how they slow, they thrown off, and we just need to get out of these bodies. It's the bottom line of everything.
Brothers need, definitely find time, man. You definitely dealing with, your peace, man. Away from brothers and away from the camp, man. You get your peace and let nobody take your peace, man. Right? You had just having a peace of mind, because that's all we got is that in the brotherhood, man, and these scriptures. Other than that, man, it is all out hell. Just being a Jake is just hell. Yeah, your mind wonders about certain things. Like I said, you trying to make bills, you're trying to make deadlines, work. You're dealing with all sorts of fucking demons.
Got a family on top of that.
Yeah, you got a family, children, mothers, father, and shit, and things be weighing at you, pulling at you from all sorts of ways. You can't let that shit weigh you down, man, and overpower you. You gotta sit there, definitely sit there and analyze things more, man. And maybe, in some sense, get counsel. Because, man, a lot of times you gotta check yourself, man. Because this flesh that we in is very weak. The mind is a thing in itself. But go ahead, I just break these scriptures out.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse 1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of the Most High, and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. And on the one hand, as the Apostle Paul said, I'd much rather be, out of this body in the spirit world with the Most High, because that's where you're gonna find rest and peace. We're not in the kingdom yet. We don't have these new bodies. So outside of being with the Heavenly Father, it's just torment, toil, pain and suffering down here.
Yeah.
For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven. If so be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked. For we that are in this tabernacle the tabernacle of these chains of darkness, as it says in the book of Jude. These just defiled bodies, this flesh, which is, so desperately wicked. For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, as the other brother was going into, all the different things we're plagued and ailed with. Physical torments, mental torments, torments from the food, torments from, people we deal with in our daily life, family, everything. For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life.
Right. Go ahead, you got it.
And what we're ultimately wanting to be, what we're ultimately working towards that change, to where this mortality shall be swallowed up with immortality.
That's right,
When
man.
we get those new spiritual bodies, as it says in 1 Corinthians 15, that death is swallowed up in victory, and that this corruptible must put on incorruption.
That's right, brother. In those bodies, man, we're gonna be at our height, at our fullest of our capabilities, man. We're not gonna have to worry about back pain, knee pain, just going through the mental toils of this life. We're gonna be actually definitely free, man. All right, and we're gonna have Yahweh Shem Shai with us.
And one thing if I could say, one thing I'm definitely looking forward to is, just the change in the mindset of being in those new bodies. Because can you imagine not having demons plaguing your mind anymore? You having the law, statutes, and commandments in you, and you just have a pure, righteous mindset. Because, brothers, however old brothers are, 20, 30, 40, etc., we've lived our whole lives with these demons plaguing our minds that, it just seems normal to us. So to have just not only the new physical, spiritual bodies, but a new mindset to things, it's just going to be a completely different, change than anything we could ever imagine.
Yeah, man, and the Lord gonna make us definitely even more perfect, man. All right, our height, all right, everything is gonna be made more, more. We're gonna get everything in abundance, man. All right. Well, like I said, this is all for conversation. We're like, yeah, man, this should be weighing on you. But go ahead,
God,
somebody got to get that other one. Then get into the
was it
the gender.
Solomon?
Yeah,
God, I got it.
that's the one right there.
God. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9. I'm going to read verses 14 to 15 in the KJV. Then I'm going to get it in the G&T, the Good News Translation. For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. For the corruptible body presseth down the soul.
You see, these corruptible bodies press it down the soul, man. It presses down the mind of men. The everyday toil, the daily life of things, man. All right, the responsibilities and shit. This is hell, man. We need, the Israelite man was made to flourish. All right, the Israelite man was made to rule, man.
Not be second.
And not to be second, to have peace. Okay. You don't get no peace here. You don't have the enjoyment of your children. You don't have the enjoyment. Hey, man, I'm about to say it. All right, you don't have enjoyment of just being a man. Just being a man, you oppressed here. All right, it's anti masculinity here, man. But go ahead.
God, verse 15 in the KJV. For the corruptible body presseth down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weigheth down the mind, that museth upon many things. Now I'm gonna get it in the G&T.
Yeah, the GNT, it's finna get down. Go ahead.
God, this is Wisdom of Solomon 9, verses 14 to 15 in the G&T. Human reason is not adequate for the task, and our philosophies tend to mislead us. If I could say on that, it says human reason is not adequate for the task. So right then and there, it's saying these mortal minds aren't adequate for damn near anything.
Yes, brother.
For the things we meditate upon in the truth, and this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, it's through the will of the Lord that we're able to understand these things, to truly unlock everything, we need those new bodies. Because outside of that, as it says in Jeremiah 17, I believe, the human mind or heart is wicked above all else. Who can know it? And our philosophies tend to mislead us. Again, anything outside of the truth, it leads, we can clearly see with these people in America that it leads them in every direction to death. Like anything outside of the truth leads you to death. Your wicked, vain, mortal thoughts. And again, it's through the will of the Lord that, He puts the Spirit on us to even understand these words.
That's right.
Verse 15, because our mortal bodies weigh our souls down.
What did it say?
Because our mortal bodies,
These mortal bodies that we in. That's why we need these new bodies, man. Right? Because these bodies weigh our what down?
weigh our souls down.
Yup.
The body,
Go ahead. You got it.
the body is a temporary structure made of earth.
Ooh. What did it say?
The body is a temporary structure made of earth.
Yeah, these bodies that we're in, man, that we're doing our thing in, is a temporary body made of earth, man. Right?
It's about to get nasty.
Oh, it's body. Go ahead. I know. I already know.
A burden to the active mind.
It's a what?
It's a burden to the active mind.
So these bodies, man, this flesh is an active burden to the what?
To the active
To
mind.
the active mind, man. All right?
So our,
Well, you got it.
I can say, so literally, this flesh that we're dwelling with right now is constantly at war with our mind and our spirit, 24/7.
That's right, man.
It says the mind, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
That's right.
From when we go to sleep to when we wake up, not only are we at war with these people out here and with these demons, we are literally at war with our own physical bodies, these vessels that we live in.
Yeah, and the man in the mirror, because, hey, man, this shit, the scriptures tell you too, man. This is my mind thinking about it. The scripture tell you that the brother talk about the flesh, the spirit. These two are at war. These two are contrary from one another, man. And it's a constant fight. It's a constant, a man check. You gotta constantly check yourself.
You gotta almost second guess yourself on every decision.
Hey, you better. Like I always say, man, you gotta walk on eggshells in this thing, man. You can't get too high minded. Can't get too, far away from yourself, man, because you'll lose. Go ahead.
Keep going.
Oh, that was yeah. Get that last one. We get it off there, man.
I'm gonna paraphrase it real quick. What did the Apostle Paul say in Romans? That I would do, I do not.
Yup.
But that I don't want to do, that I do. Pretty much saying, look, I'm constantly at war with my flesh, and though I try to be in the spirit, I still go off.
Yup.
So that's where the grace of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai comes in, because no matter how hard, how many good days you may have thinking you're on point, somewhere you're going off. And say you have a good week straight of you going, you're doing well. There could be one day where you just completely fuck up, and that brings you down in the spirit.
Yeah, man. That's right. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 51, verse 14. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. If I could say,
Yeah, you go ahead on that.
that's heavy, because it says the captive exile hasteneth to be loosed. What? The elect, which Abaratazar wrote that number, we hasten it to be loose, not only from this captivity, under the heathens, but the captivity of this weak flesh. And as it says, that he should not die in the pit, and what a pit is a lowland. And America is what? The valley of the shadow of death, nor that his bread should fail. And we know that Yahweh Shai said, I am the bread. That what? That our bread, that our understanding of this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding should fail from us. Because outside of this, the brother Kaya down here says all the time, the world is strong. If we didn't have the Lord, having that spirit on us, we would be completely consumed by everything out here. Because these demons, literally, these demons are constantly surrounding us, just biting at the heel, so to speak, to take us off.
That's right, man. So we gotta constantly check ourselves. We gotta constantly, be in the scripture. You gotta constantly be in the spirit, man. You know,
Facts.
praying and fasting, and also being in the presence of brothers, man.
Con.
You know, it keeps you there. All right.
I can speak from experience. You know, as we get closer and closer to the end of things, and these demons ramping up, the more peace I have, you know, spiritually and mentally, is, you know, being around, you know, one brother, fellowshipping around brothers. It's like it's a wind that blows away the demons.
God.
It's constantly, you know, coming at you.
That's it.
Kind.
Yeah. So with that, man, you know, we're gonna end it right here. You give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Shem, Yahushua, by Shem, Rakakadash. Once again, double honor to the elders, apostles of GMS. Peace, blessings, and salutations again to you sincere out there. All right. Shalom.
Shalom.